people's life is a must for a successful designer.
Hello, and we are here at Watson on a very fine morning. So this is a video that I have been trying to take for a long time. We have a very special guest today. We have Munwar sir. So just a little bit background about Munwar sir. He did his design education from IIT Bombay and has worked with major giant companies like Honeywell, Samsung, and then finally you are working as the head of design at Oppo. Now Munwar sir has transitioned into into an educator, and he also takes design thinking sessions for corporates, and we thought that I couldn't let Munwar sir go before having this chat with us, and that is why we have it.
Thank you for having me here in this conversation. So I would like to also share a few things from my side. So I'm fine. Ask me anything.
So, Munwar, the first question is, what does design mean to you?
Okay. So it's a kind of a matured statement from me now, because I started as a passion only. So that was the passion. The design was the passion. But down the line, design for me is like taking interest of people's interest. So my interest or designer's interest should align with the people's interest and their life and their problem. So problem solving is the design, basically.
So, sir, and again, could you tell us a bit about your journey after college and working at all these places? And Munwar sir has a lot of patents also to his name, where a lot of innovative technologies that he has created, and which I think he is like we are always trying to do, and I've seen Munwar sir always trying to push the students or whoever is around us.
So it's a long journey, 1.5 decades now. In fact, more than that. So of course, it started from my professional training in design. That's a Master of Design in IIT Bombay, and then I went to corporate for a job. But before that, I started taking part into a design competition like TechFest. And from that point, I realized that there is some spark related to design. And the judge of this competition, this was the TechFest. So we won that prize, and then the judge of that competition was a professor at IDC. He was professor at IDC. Then he recommended or advised me, why don't you appear for an entrance exam, which that time it was SEET. The entrance exam. So he asked me to participate and to appear in that exam. And to my surprise, it was a good experience preparing for this exam. And finally, I got admission at IIT Bombay. And then my journey started as a professional designer. And then I moved to Honeywell. So that time I joined their innovation lab, which was like a very fascinating lab. And we were talking about the Horizon 2 and Horizon 3 project. Horizon 2 and Horizon 3 means down the line, 5 years, 10 years. So these were like a very visionary project, and I got opportunity to work on those projects. So that time in Honeywell, we used to call it product interaction design. So it was a terminology that time. It's like you have product which have an interaction. So it was the UX itself was getting matured, the usage of those terms and all. So HCI was kind of a famous term. Then slowly I involved in this project, and then I moved to another company, which is Huawei. So it is a mobile company, because I was very much fascinated with the devices, gadgets and all. So I was the person. Actually, that time I purchased mobile in my engineering days only. So I was the person who paid for the incoming call as well. So I was among the early adopter of mobile. And then I thought, okay, why not to pursue the further career in some kind of interaction design or the UX design. So that way I went to Huawei, wherein they wanted to create a world first cloud phone. Then I was a part of that team, and we launched that product, which was world first cloud phone. And you can relate that it was 2011, the beginning of 2011, wherein even Google contacts were also struggling to sync. So there were so many issues in India related to the data, the cost of data and everything. So that way it was too early. So even though the product was successful, but we couldn't get that response from the market because it was too early for the market, especially the emerging market like India. So lesson learned, but as a team we work, and it was like a very top-notch product in Huawei. And then I moved to Samsung, and that time the smartphone was the terminology promoted by Samsung a lot. Smartphone everywhere. So because the people were migrating from feature phone, which is like a normal phone, to a smartphone. So these users were a migrated user. So it was a different kind of experience. So we created that experience. Then for 5 years, I was working with Samsung as a chief designer. And then I moved to ADP, Hyderabad. And then somehow Oppo approached us to establish design and R&D here in Hyderabad or in India at that time. Then Hyderabad is decided. Then I founded this team at Oppo and heading that design team. So that was a short journey.
And sir, like, what was your inspiration, or like what promoted you to jump back into education?
Yes. So see, being educator is like a privilege, I would say. Irrespective of your domain or irrespective of your area of interest, this is the great learning method before teaching. Of course, you are teaching as a deliverable, but you are learning as well. So it always attracted me whenever I wanted to prepare something. If somebody invited me for that topic, so I realized that I prepared well. If somebody invited to talk or to speak or to take a class on that, so it worked well for me. It's like a great learning experience. Teaching for me is a great learning experience. So it attracted me, and now I am as a adjunct faculty or professor. I'm taking few classes and teaching few subjects over here, and interacting with the smart generation is also an opportunity. Because being in corporate, probably you may not have that kind of exposure, which is here in this campus. So interacting with this smart generation or Gen Z, you will get a lot of insight, which is like fuel to keep this fire up. And so that's why I'm inclined toward design education as well.
Thank you for that answer. And I always have this question, and how I've been thinking about how I would answer that. I'm still collecting that. That is like, why should people in India invest in a design education, or why should people kind of dream to become designers, especially for the younger generation?
Yeah, so of course it's a profession. Anyone can choose any profession. It's a freedom, but there should be certain context, certain condition to choose that profession. So one is like you should be keen about solving the problem. You should be keen about people's life, because at the end you are making a difference. You are creating impacts on people's life. So that way these are like context or prerequisite, I would say, to become a successful designer. Else, as a professional, you can get a training or take a degree or master degree in design, and you can start your career. But to become a successful designer, I believe the passion and the ability to solve the problem or interest to solve the problem or to go into the people's life is a must for a successful designer. So, of course, the job sometime it's employability as well. So, I believe being a designer, it's a good employability as well. It will give a good start, but at the end, you need to plan your whole design career and design journey. So that way, it's a lucrative job and career as well, provided that you are also interested to solve the people's problem.
I have some people often asking about specific interests, and I think I also jumped into design because of specific interest. But then again, probably fell in love with design as such, and then all paths led to somehow reaching here. Sir, what are some things that young students or young designers should be keeping in mind to, especially for an emerging market like India, from your point of view?
Yeah. So, as a design student or the person who is into the design journey, I would say India is an emerging market, and most of the solutions should work at scale. So, to work on a scale, or I would say the product which will appeal to the masses, so that will be a challenge for the design student or the young budding designer. So, it's not like you are always you have the luxury to design a very niche product. So being in India, most probably you are designing something which will be used by the masses, being an emerging market. And second thing as a challenge, it's a cost sensitive market as well. So you need to have a very effective solution, because designing for the lower part of pyramid, that will require advanced technology, because that should have the scale, that should have the efficiency, that should have the cost effectiveness. So these are the big challenges working in India as a designer. Of course, designing a chair for a elite person is not always the problem or the problem statement. Probably you will be given with a problem which is associated with a greater population or masses. So that way, to understand the system, to understand the scalability, these are a few things one should take care to become a successful in this design. And being a smart new budding generation, of course, you have access to all the information. So here, collecting the information is no more a wise act. Using those information, converting those informations into a knowledge and use that knowledge for something usable for you is actually the wiseness. So that way, the designer should collect the information from all available resources, but to process it as a knowledge, you need certain skills, or I would say in-house skill. Nobody will give that skill. Nobody will package those things. So it's up to you. So these are a few things to consider for the young listeners.
Yeah, so I don't know about this question, about the success you had in industry, and also I think I would say that you have been very successful in education, also like being a mentor to not only the students but also to new faculty members and young faculty members like us. So if could you also tell us a bit about how all your work styles and the techniques that you employed led to you being a successful designer and also design educator?
This is a very subjective thing, so I would say I'm still learning. So the phase is learning. It's not like some conclusion about the journey of successful or unsuccessful. But I would say it's a continued journey. So I will take a few things whenever I work. So basically, you have ability to say yes or no to the work. The moment you are telling yes, then you should be dedicated to that work. So that is the basic thing. Because there is a tendency to do a lot of things at once and not dedicated to few of them. So that will create an illusion that you are working hard, you are working on a lot of things, but not successful on a few parts. So that way, I would say like focusing on one thing will always result positively. So this is one thing. Second thing, you need to take care about your surroundings, your environment, and the people around you. You should become a part of that environment. You should become a part of that culture. This is very, very important, because either you are creating a culture or you are adopting the culture, nothing in between that. If you think you are in between, you are in Delhi boy. Either you are adopting or you are creating your own culture and then people are adopting. So you decide whichever position you have. If you are the influence, try to create a positive impact on culture. And there are, of course, influencers around you. Try to learn and try to adopt those thoughts and culture. So that is also one of the things I would take care whenever I go. And then working as a team is important, because individual capabilities and the individual smartness is one of the components. But if it is combined with a team, so that is having a very different dynamics. So I utilize that dynamic and I mingle with the teams most of the time. Try to learn, try to become a part of that culture and the team. And of course, you will have more chances to feel like, yes, you are doing something great, you are creating the values, and you have to always check about what is your creation, what is your value addition, and what is your contribution, not only as an individual, as a team, as an organization. So that way, wherever I go, I used to take care about this thing. So I believe that it was kind of a component or a factor which worked for me to create certain success story. But way to go.
Thank you for that answer. I think also you have worked in a lot of multicultural varied areas. Like also you have worked in like US, China, and how is it? How would you sum up working in these diverse environments? And I think that is something all of us also should go on focus into.
Definitely. I traveled a lot on a business trip. So that way it was a great opportunity to work with the different people from the different culture, different countries. So I worked with the people from the European countries, American, Asian, of course, with the Chinese and with the Korean, so many people. So working in multicultural is really a great privilege. And if you had the opportunity, you need to utilize it in actual context. So it was also great learning experience for me, because you need to be patient about something. You cannot pace up with your own kind of thought. So you need to put in others' shoes sometime. So that is also a great experience working with different people, different culture. And now it's becoming a cross-border kind of culture too. Whether you are working from India or any remote part of India, most probably you are working with few people, few individuals who are from different background altogether, from different culture or maybe different country. So that way now it's become a norm. And to work with these people, I travel a lot. So it's kind of learn to travel and travel to learn. So this is also one thing I would like to venture. Of course, if you get opportunity to work and travel, that's fantastic. Else, you should be tolerant towards the other culture, other thought process. Be patient, and then work together. And maybe you feel that you can do better as an individual or in a particular setup, but working with other culture you might feel that it's not working proper, it's not a very efficient work. But down the line, if you master the art of communication, if you master the art of working as a team with a different culture, so it will definitely track into the result and positively. So of course it helped me a lot.
I'm so glad I could again catch Munwar sir for this talk and shed some light on all of these things. And Munwar sir, once again, thank you so much for saying yes to this and then talking to me and always like being a mentor for me also. So thank you, sir. Any final advices for before we close?
Pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me here. So, of course, the people who are new to the design who want to come to this journey, join this journey. So, I would say design community is a very open community. You can reach out to anyone, and most probably you will get the help and assistance. And this is a very growing community in India, very mature and well connected community. So, of course, you have access to the information, and I would suggest like whenever you get the chance to get a formal training or education, that will be a advantage for your further career. But beginning uh, or starting the design journey is comparatively easy. It don't have any entry barrier, but having a formal education in design will work, will help for long term. So welcome to the design. We are very open to see you all of you.
So thank you so much for watching, and I hope we have shared some information that probably would be you might have been looking for, and I hope to have another talk with Munwar sir sometime in the future. And so that's all for today.